shout, run around for themselves, rolling on the vibe. Someone like to cry, well maybe you're sleeping, or busy you're traveling, or using the bathroom, or deeply thinking. Let it burn up inside me.
How you guys doing today? Jason A. Kuhn here, giving you a Fight the Deception with Christian Perception news brief for January 28th, 2014. We got a lot of news with a little time. We'll jump into it here at NewYorkPost.com. Obama to continue bypassing Congress with executive orders. President Obama, in his State of the Union address this week, will double down on his strategy of using a pen and phone to advance his agenda without Congress. White House senior advisor Dan Pfeiffer said Sunday. Quote, he is going to look in every way he can with his pen and his phone to try to move the ball forward, unquote, Pfeiffer said on CNN's State of the Union. Obama has often used executive orders and agency rulemaking to bypass Congress, where a Republican-run House has stymied the president's policy goals. But he's promising to take that go-it-alone strategy to a new level in 2014. Let's move on here to NewYorkTimes.com. Top Republicans to call for legal status for some immigrants. The House Republican leadership's broad framework for overhauling the nation's immigration laws will call this week for a path to legal status, but not citizenship, for many of the 11 million adult immigrants who are in the country illegally, according to aides who have seen the party's statement of principles. For immigrants brought to the United States legally or illegally as young children, the Republicans would offer a path to citizenship. Let's move on here to InsuranceJournal.com. Advocates push for driver's license for illegal immigrants in Massachusetts. The largest immigrant advocacy group in the New England is again pushing lawmakers to support a bill that would allow foreign-born residents living in the country illegally to secure Massachusetts' driver's license. Massachusetts law currently requires immigrants seeking a driver's license to prove they are in the country legally. The Massachusetts Immigrant and Refugee Advocacy Coalition, or MIRA, said removing the barrier as proposed under the Safe Driving Bill would make Massachusetts roads more secure, ensuring immigrants living in the country illegally are trained, licensed, and insured. Wow. So that's the reason for making illegals legal? Let's move on. Betabeat.com. North Dakota cow thief is first American arrested and jailed with drone's help. Look up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's a predator drone finding you because you wouldn't give your neighbor his cows back after they wandered onto your property. Rodney Brossart, the farmer from North Dakota, was arrested after being located by a predator drone, Forbes reports. Sentenced yesterday, he is the first American to be sent to the clink thanks to drone assistance. In June 2011, Forbes reported police attempted to arrest him because he wouldn't return the 3 cows that had grazed onto his property. This resulted in an armed standoff between Brossart, his 3 sons, and a SWAT team on his property. It ended only after the family of perps was located by a predator drone borrowed from Customs and Border Patrol. Wow. Mr. Brossart tried to have the case dismissed on the grounds that there was no warrant for the drone surveillance, but a federal judge rejected his motion. Forbes points out that it's disconcerting that drones created to protect American borders are now being used to apprehend American citizens, although a manned helicopter could have done the same thing. The danger, though, is that widespread drone use could be easier to achieve than buying a helicopter for every local precinct in the country. Move on here to MyFoxNewYork.com. DHS drone crashes into Pacific off California's coast. Wow. A Homeland Security Department drone has crashed off the coast of Southern California. Customs and Border Protection say the drone was being flown on a border security mission when a mechanical problem developed about 20 miles southwest of San Diego. Spokesman Mike Frail says the crew operating the drone from Texas decided to crash it into the ocean. The $18 million tax-paid surveillance drone was one of the 10 that Homeland Security uses to patrol the border with Mexico. It was just one of the 2 Predator B drones equipped with radar specifically designed to be used over the ocean. Frail said the cause of the mechanical failure is unknown. Move on here to FoxNews.com. The cop of the future. Will crooks have a chance against smart bullets, crowd stun cannons, and eyes everywhere? Criminals may not have a chance in 2025 when the cop of the future will be an imposing crime-fighting machine, able to see around corners in urban environments, identify suspects at a glance, safely pursue stolen cars, and effortlessly bring unruly crowds under control. Police departments around the country are already testing technologies like Google Glass, lapel cameras, and tracking devices that allow safer pursuit of fleeing suspects. But this is merely a glimpse of what's to come. According to experts contacted by FoxNews.com, they said increasing reliance on data mining, predictive analysis, and all manner of gadgets will make getting away with a crime harder than ever. The emergence of new technologies will have significant impact on how frontline police services are delivered in the years ahead and how police officers will look and perform their duties in the future. Jer Daly, Global Managing Director of Accenture Defense and Public Safety, told FoxNews.com, quote, "All forces endeavor to provide high levels of situational awareness to frontline officers, and technology is a key enabler of this," unquote. To move on here to myfoxnewyork.com, federal security forces at the Super Bowl. Super Bowl has been declared a Level 1 national security event. Part of that security is to examine every item that is being brought in for Sunday's big game. U.S. Customs and Border Protection agents will work around the clock to x-ray every delivery truck and other vehicle authorized to enter the MetLife Stadium complex for anything suspicious. Agents will be looking for smugglers, narcotics, terror activity, and more potential threats. Throughout Super Bowl week, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security will use HCV mobile screening or scanning trucks to examine vehicles. Inside the HCV mobile unit, agents will monitor computer screens to scan anything and everything commercial vehicles will bring in. Quote, "We are x-raying every piece of equipment, every cargo, every beverage, seat cushion, every piece of merchandise, food, everything that is going into the stadium has to be x-rayed before it goes in," unquote. Kevin McCabe. That's a quote from, well, my computer just messed up. That's Kevin McCabe, Chief of U.S. Customs and Border Patrol Agency. We'll move on here to Infowars.com. Police state gets ready for Super Bowl. Super Bowl is a Level 1 national security event declared by the Department of Homeland Security, allowing Homeland Security Presidential Directive 5 to kick in. The directive means federal government considers the game to be a possible terrorist target and provides authority for the feds to act as the lead in all security operations in New Jersey and adjacent New York. During past games, the DHS warned that terrorists would strike not only stadiums but hotels, restaurants. Intelligence officialdom said terrorists might try to enter the games by impersonating government or military officials or emergency personnel. Possible threats, according to Ed Hartnett, former head of New York Police Department's intelligence unit, include suicide bombers. Quote, "I would list them in priority order being a suicide bomber, a vehicle laden with explosives, and a mass shooter or mass shooters similar to the Kenyan Mall or Mumbai incidents," unquote, he told NBC News. I smell a false flag coming. We'll move on here to Infowars.com. FEMA preparing for motor coach evacuation of the general population. The Federal Emergency Management Agency is soliciting companies to provide operational support for a motor coach evacuation of the general population of the United States in response to a declared emergency or a national disaster. Say maybe a nuke going off at the Super Bowl. The solicitation originally appeared on the Fed's BizOps website back in October, but was recently revised after businesses began asking FEMA questions about the contract. Quote, "This is a synopsis for a single indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity contract to obtain evacuation planning and operational support to facilitate a motor coach evacuation of the general population in response to presidential declared emergencies and major disasters within the continental United States," unquote, says the solicitation. Attachments to the solicitation provide more details, including of how FEMA requires companies to provide security at a staging and operational area in the event of a no-notice, life-threatening event that requires the contractor's immediate or rapid deployment. Let's go back here to FoxNews.com for my last article of the day. Evidence points to secret Israeli strike on Syrian missile launchers. Growing evidence suggests that the Israeli Air Force carried out a secret mission in Syria Sunday night targeting Russian-made missile launchers developed by forces loyal to President Bashar Assad. A few minutes before midnight, a number of regional news sources reported a loud explosion in the coastal town of Latakia, where the S-300 systems are thought to be located. Those reports come on the heads of Lebanese media, or comes on the heels of Lebanese media describing sightings of Israel aircraft in Lebanese airspace, which Israeli planes would have to cross in order to reach targets on the Syrian coastal plain. The final report on the incident, issued by the NNA, Lebanese Ministry of Information website, was published on Monday morning. Quote, "On Sunday at 10:45 p.m., 2 Israeli warplanes violated Lebanese airspace off West Batroun, executed circular flight over the Lebanese regions, and then left at 11:55 p.m. off West Nakora village," unquote, it read. So again, Israel is allowed to terrorize the nation with no consequences. Terrorize the world with no consequences. That's all the news I got for you today. I don't want to leave you without the New World Order quote of the day. Quote, what is important is to dwell upon the increasing evidence of the existence of a secret conspiracy throughout the world for the destruction of organized government and letting loose of evil. Unquote. That's Christian Science Monitor editorial from June 19th, 1920. Don't want to leave you without the proverb of the day. This is Proverbs 21:11, King James only. When the scorner is punished, the simple is made wise, and when the wise is instructed, he receiveth knowledge. That's all the news, articles, and quotes I got for you today. I'll leave you off with the song I brought you in on. This is by Disciple, God of Elijah.
Sacrifice and dug up a trench and cut up a bowl and placed it on the wood. Put 4 jars of water right around. He said,